Every officer knows the dangers of the badge, but for Officer Kieran Rowan, nothing could have prepared him for the day his partner, a German shepherd named Valor, saved his life in a way no one could have imagined. It started as a crisp autumn morning in the quiet town of Alderwick. Kieran was sipping coffee at his desk, sifting through overdue reports, when an emergency call shattered the calm. The dispatcher's voice crackled with urgency. Active shooter situation at Maplewood Galleria. Officers needed immediately. The details hit hard. A man had opened fire in the crowded food court of the mall, sending families running for their lives. The shooter was identified as Micah Thorne, a former soldier battling severe PTSD. Kieran's heart tightened as he geared up, Valor watching his every move with sharp, focused eyes. Minutes later, Kieran and Valor arrived at the chaotic scene. Shouts, sirens, and the sharp wails of frightened children filled the air. Captain Rhea Langston briefed him near the barricades. "The suspect's holed up in the service corridors," she said, her tone grim. "He's armed and carrying extra ammo. We need Valor to track him down before more lives are at risk." Kieran nodded, his hand brushing Valor's head. "We're on it." The mall's service hallways were dim, quiet, and thick with tension. Valor moved ahead, nose to the ground, his movements precise and deliberate. Kieran's grip on his firearm tightened as they rounded each corner. Suddenly, Valor froze, his ears perked. "Got something?" Kieran whispered. Before he could react, a gunshot echoed down the hallway, narrowly missing him. He dove behind a metal cart, his heart pounding. Valor remained steady, a low growl rumbling in his throat as he awaited Kieran's command. "Micah Thorne," Kieran called out, his voice firm. "Drop your weapon and come out peacefully." Micah's voice came from somewhere ahead, trembling with raw pain. "You don't get it. I've lost everything, my family, my purpose. There's nothing left for me." Kieran took a deep breath, memories flashing of his own dark times, the night he nearly lost his younger sister, Lyric, to an accident. It was Valor who had found her unconscious in the woods, barking until help arrived. That bond, forged in desperation, had taught Kieran the power of hope when all seemed lost. "I do get it, Micah," Kieran called, lowering his weapon slightly. "I've been where you are, feeling like there's no way out. But this isn't the answer. Let me help you find a way forward." Silence stretched for an agonizing moment. Then Micah stepped out, his weapon trembling in his hands. He lowered it to the floor, his expression crumbling. Relief coursed through Kieran until he heard the groan of stressed metal above. "Move!" Kieran shouted, but the warning came too late. A damaged support beam collapsed, pinning Kieran's leg beneath its weight. Pain shot through him like fire as Micah froze, unsure of what to do. That's when Valor leapt into action. The German shepherd barked sharply, snapping Micah out of his paralysis. Together, man and dog worked as one. Micah lifted the beam just enough for Valor to grip Kieran's jacket and drag him free. Once Kieran was safe, Valor turned back to Micah, ensuring he stayed put until backup arrived. The aftermath was a whirlwind. Medics tended to Kieran's leg while other officers secured the scene. Valor refused to leave Kieran's side, his keen eyes scanning for any lingering threats. Kieran rested a hand on Valor's head, murmuring, "Good boy, Val. You're incredible." Micah, now in custody, hesitated as officers led him away. His voice broke as he looked back at Kieran. "Thank you," he said, "for not giving up on me." Kieran could only nod, his throat too tight to speak. Later that night, Kieran sat on his couch, his leg propped up and bandaged. Valor lay beside him, ever watchful. His sister, Lyric, curled up next to them, her arms around the dog's neck. "You're amazing, Val," she said softly, her eyes shining. "You saved him. You saved all of us." Kieran smiled faintly, ruffling Valor's ears. "He's got a knack for that." In the days that followed, the story of Kieran and Valor's heroics spread through Alderwick. The community rallied to support them, praising their courage and the bond they shared. Physical therapy became part of Kieran's routine, and Valor accompanied him to every session, a steadfast reminder of resilience. Meanwhile, Micah began receiving the mental health care he desperately needed. A few weeks later, a letter arrived at the station addressed to Kieran. "Officer Rowan," it began, "you could have treated me like a criminal, but you didn't. You saw me as a person who needed help. Because of you and Valor, I have a chance to rebuild my life. Thank you for everything." Kieran read the letter aloud to Lyric and Valor that evening. "See, Val?" Lyric said, resting her head on the dog's back. "You don't just save lives, you change them." Kieran chuckled, rubbing Valor's head. He's all that and more. As the quiet of the evening settled around them, Kieran looked at his partner, the dog who had saved his life more times than he could count. In Valor's unwavering loyalty, he saw a reminder of the best parts of humanity, a testament to courage, hope, and the bond that could light the way even in the darkest moments.